The verdict has been reached in the Casey Anthony trial. Investigators have been out here since about 6:30 tonight. Let me show you the scene here. Welcome to Action News.
Y'all go ahead and get off the property.
And I'm CVarnum. Is there something to hide that he's not talking with everybody? I'm going to show you the scene right here. You can see there is a crime scene vehicle way in the back by the playground. You can see back here the plane is still right on the beach. Some of the information was sensitive, so it's blacked out, kind of like this page here. Look through your mirror. Make sure that you are not driving distracted. You can see they have a bright light shining on the home, trying to figure out exactly what brought this plane down. This is a massive tree that literally was uprooted, taking with it some of the pavement here from the sidewalk. And her mother is by her side, but 6 hours after this happened, take a look. You can still see crews are out here trying to figure out what happened. And just within the last couple minutes, a third crime scene vehicle showed up. We have also been monitoring a serious situation in Clay County, Brent. There is a state of emergency that was declared earlier today, especially along Black Creek, where that river was around 19 feet. There was a live look of George Zimmerman inside the courtroom. Again, we have just learned that after about 15 hours or so of deliberations, the jury has reached a verdict. We are following some breaking news out of San Francisco this afternoon. That plane appears to have burst into flames right now. Firefighters have been working to make sure that all of the hot spots are out. They are zooming in right now on the back end of that plane. I found problems dating back 10 years ago. I have been going through pages and pages of documents about what's going on inside this building. Some of those allegations are pretty serious. They help police solve some of the worst crimes, murder. But Action News has uncovered some major allegations inside the medical examiner's office. They all center around this woman, Dr. Valerie Rao. She was appointed by the governor in 2011. But in a letter I obtained from the mayor's office to the state commission, the city claims employees have seen Dr. Rao using the autopsy sink to wash her feet, use her bare hands to perform procedures, even demand unnecessary autopsies to raise the bottom line. And the accusations don't stop there.
We want to have the best medical examiner's office possible, and we had received numerous indications that there might be issues.
Mayor spokesman Dave DeCamp tells me there are complaints like this one from employees claiming bullying and a hostile environment.
We're taking a lot of steps on our own to help improve this office, from the actual structure of the building to looking at ways to improve its function.
But Dr. Rao is an employee of the state, not the city of Jacksonville. So I called the governor's office and the state commission to get some answers. The chair of the commission tells me he disagrees with the city. He told me by phone Dr. Rao is competent to do the job. But I also found out the mayor's office isn't the only one with concerns. 10 years ago, this same state commission decided not to send Dr. Rao's name to the governor for reappointment for ME in the Ocala area. According to published reports, people told the board Dr. Rao contaminated crime scenes. I took the documents to a local attorney. She says this could have major implications for the state.
Anybody who has had testimony by her in their criminal case wherein there was a conviction would have legal grounds to file a motion to get a new trial, to review the evidence, and that's going to cost the taxpayers greatly.
Dr. Rao did not want to comment on these allegations today when I found her at her home. I can tell you the city's ethics commission just ordered that entire office, everyone there, to go through ethics training from a separate incident.
An Action News investigation is changing everything. CVarnum continues her investigation tonight. And Catherine, a local lawmaker didn't even know about this until you brought it to his attention.
That's right, Paige. I showed this report to State Senator Aaron Bean tonight. He says now something will get done. 3 months later, though, take a look. You can see this tree is still covered in black char. It looked like a tornado of smoke swirling around North Jacksonville. April 2nd, 2013, a prescribed burn out of control at Pumpkin Hill, moving dangerously close to homes. Michael Fuste remembers the day well.
It did present a threat to our neighborhood.
The Park Service told us then the weather was to blame, but Action News uncovered this report that says the burn should never have been done in the first place. The weather wasn't right, policies weren't followed, and the crews weren't experienced enough.
We weren't totally shocked about the weather not being an issue as much as we were as the lack of attention to detail.
But even though someone messed up, no one was being held accountable until I demanded answers. It came really close to homes.
Oh, scary.
It could have hit homes, but yet no one's being held accountable.
Well, not yet. It's still early. You're shaking things up. That's how I found about it first.
I went right to State Senator Aaron Bean with the Park Service's report. He represents the Pumpkin Hill area in North Jacksonville.
We're going to find out what's going on. If there's somebody that just blatantly disregard the rules, then they need to be held accountable.
He agrees the state needs to do prescribed berms to stop bigger fires from happening, but says they need to be done right. So I asked, how do we do that? Do we need more park staff, more money?
I think that there's enough rules and regulations on the books already. We just got to follow them.
That's all this homeowner is asking for, so a fire doesn't put his family in danger again.
Have more people on site that know what they're doing, have somebody held accountable.
We live in a military community. Service and honors are a point of pride for so many people who live here. That's why people are angry at the man you're about to meet.
I was calling you, Samuel, because you were donor number 175,000.
A surprise phone call from former presidential candidate Newt Gingrich in March put local man Sam Sanford in the spotlight.
Just your average Joe, it made me feel special.
With just a $2.50 donation to the Gingrich campaign, Sanford got a bit of publicity, something this conservative talk show host didn't seem to mind. Sanford hosts an online radio show, Constitutional Conservatives Unite.
I'm worried about my country right now, and we cannot shut up.
But after Sanford had his 15 minutes in the national spotlight, he started getting some unwanted attention.
I have to carry my Glock in my back pocket due to the death threats that I've gotten.
An Action News viewer led us to this radio clip of Sanford's show.
You're a Navy SEAL, right there? Yes.
In those clips, he talked about his years as a Navy SEAL.
Did you see action, Sammy?
Yes. Grenada, Iran. When our planes crashed in Iran, that was my very first time there.
The trouble is, he's not a Navy SEAL. Never was. And Action News has the documents to prove it. We filed this Freedom of Information records request with the National Personnel Records Center. They sent us this document that does prove Sanford entered the Navy Reserves in 1978, just as he says on his radio show.
I went to Great Lakes, Illinois in November, the day before Thanksgiving, to go through basic training.
But that's where the truth about Sam Sanford's military career ends. Inside those same papers, an interesting piece of information. It says Sanford's naval career started on November 22nd of 1978 and ended December 11th, 1978. That's right, he was in the Navy for just 19 days. But perhaps there was something we were overlooking. Maybe Sanford's name was in a separate SEAL database. So we turned to Naval Special Warfare to see if, in fact, they had any information. We put in a request to find out if Sanford's name was on the rolls. They sent us this letter back saying he wasn't on it. So we put in calls to Sanford. That went unanswered. Then we dropped by his house.
No interview.
Are you a Navy SEAL? He refused to answer my question, sending his wife outside.
He's declining an interview at this time.
Okay, do you know anything about his background as a SEAL?
Is that what the interview's about? Well, there's people out there on the internet that want to smear his name.
And we want to give him the chance to make it right and prove that he was, in fact, in the Navy. The military records I have here say he was only in a month. When we couldn't get Sanford to talk with us at his home, we tried calling into his radio show.
I hope you're not here to attack me.
Well, I'm not here to attack you. I'm actually here to just ask you about your military service. I would like to wonder and ask you if you are a Navy SEAL.
Both times he hung up on me and my producer, calling us a few choice names.
These people are spineless little bastards. If you're so worried about me, get a f***ing life.
We did find clips from past radio shows where Sanford has talked about the attacks on his service record.
They don't know what I went through and what I did.
Veterans Action News spoke with are upset Sanford is trying to take credit for something he didn't do.
You know, I don't know why people do that. I don't know if it's just to get publicity or whatever, but that's wrong, and it puts a black eye to the men and women that did serve this great country of ours.
People just shouldn't brag about things they didn't do, and certainly about something like a Navy SEAL.
But the number one question they have is why would Sanford lie?
It's a question he won't answer.
We are out here fighting for our country, and you're trying to attack me personally. Get a friggin' life.
Tonight, Sam Sanford called wanting to tell his side of the story. We did give him plenty of opportunities while we were investigating, but he decided tonight he wanted to talk. He had this message for the community.
No, I was never a Navy SEAL. I'm tired of the death threats coming to my house. And I apologize to all the awesome veterans out there that have served our country.
Sanford also recently pulled his online radio show and all the archives that went along with it.
Amazing. Catherine, is it illegal to lie about this?
Mark, it has been. In 2005, the Stolen Valor Act made it a crime to lie about military service or accolades. But this year, the Supreme Court overturned that law, saying the wording of it was just too broad and posed a danger to free speech.
All right, Catherine, thanks. Action News is the only station asking Mayor Alvin Brown about the Veterans Charity scandal, what he is saying about the future of contract negotiations between the city and the union. But first, fire outbreak where several are burning in our area and how people are avoiding the flames. Thank you for choosing Action News tonight. I'm CVarnum. Right now, several brush fires are burning in our area. Some have even threatened homes. Action News' Lorena Inclan is live in Clay County tonight. And Lorena, some people had a very close call with these flames.
That's right, Catherine, and we're talking just yards here, the houses that sit directly behind me on Oak Moss Loop. You can see the flames right from their backyard, and the fire started in the woods right behind their homes. Had it not been for the quick action of the firefighters, they would have been up in flames. Fire crews are not taking any chances tonight in this Middleburg neighborhood. For Nathan Williams, the thought of losing his home crossed his mind as he watched the flames come toward his backyard.
I started moving toward and getting closer, maybe like 50 yards away. And that's when I said, all right, we got to pack up or grab something and go.
According to the Division of Forestry, 35 firefighters worked to put out the 17-acre fire, which threatened Williams' home along with 19 others.
Somebody started it being careless. With a campfire or a bonfire over there in these woods.
According to Kevin McEwen, strong winds made matters even worse. Embers were quickly blown just a few blocks away, sparking another 2-acre fire just feet away from Robert Zor's home.
I come out here with a water hose, tried to do what I could, but it started spreading so fast.
The flames destroyed the well pump, cutting off the water to his home.
And we're not going to bed till we know that everything's safe.
William says he's thankful he and his family are okay.
My life is worth more, so I can always get another house. Can't get another life.
Now, as for the family that lost their water pump, they tell me it's going to cost them about $7,000 to replace the pump along with their fence. Meanwhile, officials tell me that they'll be back out here tomorrow to check on this brush fire because the conditions are going to be pretty similar, so they're not in the clear yet. Reporting live from Clay County, Lorena Inclan, CBS 47 Action News.
Lorena, thank you. A brush fire on the south side is now contained. Roadblocks were up around San Pablo Road near the Coquina Bay Apartments. As crews work to contain a 10-acre wildfire there, no homes were damaged. And several fires are burning right now in St. Johns County tonight. Take a look from the air as this fire near Flores Way. People were forced from their homes by a 5-acre fire. You can see the smoke over that area. All of them, though, are back home tonight. And a small fire near Bryan Way is also under control. The cause of that fire is still not known just yet. And a live look over Jacksonville, clear skies, not exactly what firefighters want to see as they try to continue putting out those area wildfires. Meteorologist Julie Watkins is tracking the rain chances with Jacksonville's most accurate forecast.
Right, not big rain chances here as we go into the overnight hours and as we round out our weekend. But it's kind of nice for some of us that do want to get out and about and enjoy our afternoon on Sunday, and we'll be able to do so. Mother Nature really not going to be a big problem there. First, our Doppler HG is dry for southeast Georgia, northeast Florida. Winds still coming out of the southwest. So winds have been an issue today because they've been so breezy. For tonight, they'll die down a little bit more. So we're looking on average for that wind to blow right around 5 miles an hour. But it's going to be another breezy day tomorrow and also another warm one. We're still experiencing some very mild temperatures out there at this hour. But with the low humidities on tap for tomorrow, more red flag warnings will probably go up for a lot of counties. But by lunchtime, we are looking at increasing clouds, so increasing moisture out there. And that is going to transition into some rain that we'll talk about coming up the complete forecast.
Just into Action News, crews put out a fire on the west side just a short time ago. They're not sure exactly how this house fire started at the Lacoma Drive and Rio Grande Avenue. No one was hurt. The family will have to stay somewhere else tonight. One person is dead, another in critical condition after a bad crash near St. Augustine Shores. Action News has learned 2 vehicles collided on US 1 at Southwood Lake Drive. The cause of the crash is under investigation. There is new information tonight on the Veterans Charity scandal that put dozens of people behind bars this week, including Fraternal Order of Police head Nelson Cuba. Action News just learned the FOP Foundation account was frozen by the government. In a letter to FOP members on its Facebook page, the new acting FOP president says he's ordered an audit of the foundation's financial records. They'll also consult with an attorney. Now, one of the biggest questions is what will happen with pension negotiations between the union and the city. Cuba had been working on them for months until an impasse was declared in November. It's a multi-million-dollar problem putting a strain on our city's budget. We took our questions right to the mayor today.
Thank you. Nelson? I'm done. Take me to court. I'm done with this.
That was FOP President Nelson Cuba in October, refusing to negotiate the police pension with city leaders. Fast forward to this week, Cuba and FOP VP Robbie Freitas ended up behind bars, charged in the Veterans Charity scandal. And for the first time, only Action News is asking the mayor what this means for the future of pension talks.
I have no idea about that process.
Mayor Alvin Brown wouldn't say much about the investigation that has rocked the city.
I don't want to really speculate and comment. I just think that it's important to let the process take care of itself and stay above it.
57 people were charged, including a local attorney and the head of the Allied Veterans of the World. Investigators say they took money meant to help local veterans and lined their own pockets with it. This week, police raided several local internet cafes, claiming Allied Veterans was doing illegal gambling. Computers, documents, even cash and property were seized. It's a scandal putting Jacksonville front and center, and the mayor has refused to talk about the issue until today. When we asked the questions, he still seemed to avoid.
It's inappropriate for me to comment on what's going on. It's still a criminal investigation. I don't want to comment on that.
The Seminole County Sheriff's Office told me tonight there are still a couple of outstanding warrants for arrest in this investigation. They will have more information for us early next week. Meanwhile, right now, the alleged ringleader, Kelly Mathis, is out on bond. He says he's innocent of the charges. And another one of the co-conspirators, Jerry Bass, National Commander of Allied Veterans of the World, is still in jail tonight on $1 million bond. After the arrest this week, there is a new push to ban all internet cafes from operating in the state. State Senator John Thrasher tells Action News his fellow lawmakers will take up a new proposal on Monday.
But given the events of the past week, we felt that it was time now to go ahead and go with the full ban. There's a gray area, admittedly, and some people have tried to exploit that. And I think that's what the Allied Veterans of the World were trying to do.
And of course, count on Action News for continuing coverage of this scandal. We plan to have a crew live in Tallahassee to bring you the debate on the internet cafe ban. We will have the result live on air and online at actionnewsjax.com. You can also read the 400-page affidavit against the 57 people who were charged in this case, and you can get breaking news alerts on the investigation. Just sign up for the Action News mobile app. All new at 11, Florida A&M is suspending its search for a new president. The school says this is just the wrong time to pick a permanent replacement. Former President James Amos resigned in the wake of the hazing death of marching drum major Robert Champion. The Board of Trustees was supposed to make a final decision on the president position next week. Democrats are revealing some of their strategies against Governor Rick Scott's re-election bid. Leaders say his recent switch on early voting and teacher pay raises will allow them to paint him as a flip-flopper who just wants to stay in office. Former Republican Governor Charlie Crist may be in the running to be the Democrats' choice to run against Rick Scott. He gave the keynote address at the Manatee County Democrats' annual dinner. It was his first major speech since announcing his move from being an independent to a Democrat. Hundreds of people left on a Carnival cruise fascination today, hoping for a fantastic voyage. The ship left from Jacksonville despite the problems 3 other Carnival ships had just this week. As Action News Registry found out, the excitement for today's trip is still in full swing.
Triumph became defeat. Elation turned into sadness. The dream became a nightmare. And now legend is the latest disaster for Carnival Cruise Lines.
Well, the one that was in St. Martin would have been great. We could have spent a few days there, then flew us home. But
all of these ships experienced some kind of engine failure. All of them were stuck at sea. sea, and they are all now concerns in the minds of Carnival's newest passengers.
Deep thoughts, but nothing, nothing major. I mean, it could happen anytime, anywhere, so.
Gotta think positive.
Not really. If he take us, he don't take us.
Fascination has been taking more than 2,000 passengers from Jacksonville to the Bahamas and Key West for years. And today's trip is no different. At least that's what these passengers hope.
We enjoy cruises because everything is right there in one place. What's going to happen is going to happen.
It's a spring break trip passengers say will be memorable, hopefully for the right reasons. Reporting from Jacksport D-Registry, CBS 47 Action News.
Last year, 32 people were killed when the Costa Concordia ran aground off the coast of Italy. That ship belonged to a sister cruise line of Carnival. Still ahead tonight at 11, what investigators say caused a plane to crash into a Florida parking lot, leaving, you see it, a fiery mess. Plus, who is saying new rules are putting our rivers in danger, and what the government says it's doing about it.